What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of our modern video series where we pick a deck in the format, run it through some matches on Magic Online, talk about the list, super secret tech, some sideboarding, and some other fun stuff. Today we have Grixis Delver. This is a deck that's been, it's not new to Modern, it's been in Modern for a while, ever since the printing of Kolaghan's Command, or I guess shortly after, once Kolaghan's Command was found to be good enough for a card worth playing alongside Delve creatures. But a lot of people haven't been talking about it recently, and it's been kind of falling off the radar, and I kind of wanted to pick it up myself and figure out why. So we're going to play an 8-man with it, see how we do, see if we can get our Delvers to flip. So it should be fun. Before we jump into the deck tech, I want to thank Modern Nexus and Card Hoarder for sponsoring this video series. As always, Modern Nexus and Card Hoarder make it possible for me to do this. Modern Nexus hosts the videos both on their website, modernnexus.com, and their YouTube page. So wherever you're watching these videos, make sure you check out the other half of the content that they have to offer. And Card Hoarder loans out cards so we can play different decks in the format every week. So they're awesome. Check out their website, www.cardhoarder.com. They sell Magic Online cards, and they also have a paper website at isleofcards.com also. So check them out, and we will jump in. So jumping in, we are playing 20 lands, 15 creatures, and then 25 instants and sorceries. For those that don't know, the basic strategy of the deck is cast Delver of Secrets and get him to flip. Delver of Secrets is a 1/1 1-drop that at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery, you get to flip him into a 3/2 flyer. Basically what that means is that if you can play Delver and then get him to flip and protect him, you have this super quick, super cheap, fast, hard-hitting, flying threat that's very unfair, and your opponent is very sad. So you can see why people like playing this deck. But seriously though, it is a lot of fun to cast over and get them to flip. Being able to support the support structure around Delver Secrets kind of, I guess, guides our hand into how our deck normally wants to look, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Basically, Delver Secrets wants you to play a lot of instants or sorcery spells, so you see Delver Secrets alongside Young Pyromancer and Snapcaster Mage often, because both Young Pyromancer and Snapcaster Mage are powerful creatures that also reward you for playing a number of instants and sorcery spells. Delver of Secrets, as a 1-drop that flips into a 3/2 flyer, can do a lot of work for putting the opponent on the back foot, and so tempo generating spells like Spell Pierce and Remand are often used to keep the opponent on the back foot while we're trying to clock them and apply quick pressure. Since the printing of Kolaghan's Command, this deck has really kind of taken off in Modern. Kolaghan's Command, for those that don't know, this card is awesome. It's main deck of Artifact Hate that helps against Affinity and also just random artifacts in the format. It's great for just grinding your opponent down as far as resources go, hitting mana creatures and making them discard a card, or returning creatures from our graveyard. Kolaghan's Command is awesome, and Kolaghan's Command alongside of the Delve creatures are the main reason why we're playing black in this deck. Gurmag Angler and Tasigur, for those that might not have been playing Modern recently, or I guess don't understand exactly why these cards have been popping up that often. Just being able to play a Tarmogoyf size threat for 1 mana, 1 or 2 mana in a color other than green, just by naturally playing cheap interactive cards and fetch lands is excellent. And that's why we see Tasigur and Gurmag Angler in 3 of the best decks in Modern. Grixis Delver, or used to be the best deck, Grixis Twin and Grixis Control, all incorporating this package in some amounts. So 20 land, we're playing 9 fetch lands, and then an interesting, I guess, assortment of both shock lands and fast lands, and then I guess the buddy lands. Darkslick Shores is awesome for just playing a turn 1 Delver Secrets, or not having to take an insane amount of damage to Thoughtseize someone on turn 1 and still be able to fetch a duel that casts one of our blue cantrips. I like the Blood Crypt. I cut Blood Crypt out of the Grixis Control deck, but it's fine in this list because we are playing 20 land as opposed to 22, and even some of the Grixis Delver lists go all the way down to 18 lands. Normally you see the ones that play 18 lands are playing the 4th Gitaxian Probe, definitely like 4 Young Pyromancer or something, but we're playing a few more lands just to try and help with consistency and let us hit our 3rd land drop, so we can do things like play a Dull Creature and protect it with Mana Leak, play Young Pyromancer and then Serum Visions after, stuff like that. It's always good to be able to hit your 3rd land on time. We're not playing the basic mountain, which it'll be interesting to see if that'll come back to bite us. I've seen some lists that play it and some lists that don't. I feel like the basic should be 2 island, 2 swamp, 1 mountain. Just because sometimes we want to just go Darkslick Shores into Bloodstained Mire fetching a mountain and then our mana is fine. Another normal land sequence is like Steam Vents into one of our 6 fetch lands that can fetch a basic swamp. That fixes our mana as well. The Deprive, while we're talking about mana, is a double blue card that makes our mana, it kind of stretches our mana a little bit, but this is a pet card of mine. I always try and fit it into blue lists if I can. It's definitely one of those that I would, one of the spells that's probably unique to this list compared to other Grixis Delver lists you might see running around. But I like Deprive a lot. It's just a spell that I've become comfortable with playing and I enjoy using. I think that's about it for the main deck. The one thing I will say about the main deck is that it is very customizable. You've got this core of spells, 4-ups that you can't really touch. Delver, Serum Visions, Thought Scour, Bolt, Snapcaster, and then from there, 3 or 4 Young Pyromancer, some amount of removal. 3 Gitaxian Probe seems to be a good number to play, just because we do deal a lot of damage to ourselves, both with fetching duels on turn 1 and 2, and then Gitaxian Probe, and we're not able to play defense that well until probably like turn 3 or 4 or later. So one of the major problems with this deck is that we do end up having to take a lot of damage over the course of the game just to play Magic, which can be difficult in the Affinity and Burn matchups. But yeah, as far as that goes, everything else, like the numbers on Spell Snare, Spell Pierce, how many counter spells you want to play, 3, do you want to go up to 4, do you want to go all the way down to 2, do you want to try and fit an Electrolyze in here? There's a lot of room for customization, and it makes these blue decks a lot of fun to play. So moving on to the sideboard, we're playing 3 Dispel and 3 Thoughtseize. Dispel is, we've talked about it in I think every video series we've done that has access to blue. Dispel is an awesome card, and it's like one of the best blue cards in Modern. And I wouldn't be playing a blue deck without access to at least 3 Dispel. The card's great. Everybody's playing Interaction, due primarily because of Gurmag Angler and Tasker the Golden Fang, and even creature-based decks that wouldn't normally have a lot of good targets for Dispel. You see them playing things like Collected Company and stuff like that. So Dispel is awesome. Thoughtseize is great for just general all-around disruption. It's good against I bring it in against pretty much every deck except for the aggressive archetypes. Great against Infect, great against all of the combo floating around, good against Grixis Twin and Grixis Control. Not so much against Grixis Control because that deck has a lot of inherent resiliency to discard, just because of the combination of like Kolaghan's Command, Snapcaster Mage, Tasigur, that kind of thing. But Thoughtseize is excellent for both protecting our threats and taking care of opposing threats. Grim Lavamancer is awesome. I love this little guy. He's been growing on me, and now that the burn decks are getting a little bit more creature based, Grim Lavamancer to shoot down like Goblin Guides, Eidolon and the Great Rebels, which were always there, but just letting us use our resources to kill our opponent and try and get a little bit more value out of our graveyard is great, and he's great against the the Abzan Company decks and elves and stuff like that. Magma Spray, just another thing for Voice of Resurgence, Kitchen Finks. This deck has a big weakness to Kitchen Finks, so being able to deal with it cleanly is a must, and I've been liking Magma Spray for that effect. Vandal Blast for Affinity and Tron, as always. We're playing 4 Fulminator Mage. We probably don't need this many. This would be overkill, I think. This is kind of a holdover from the Grixis Control deck that I was playing that had 4 Fulminator in the board. I think we could get away with like 1 or 2 Blood Moon, and then use a couple slots for something else. But I just don't like losing to Tron. We should be fine because we have Delver of Secrets is really great against Tron, assuming we can protect it from Pyroclasm, and Delver of Secrets alongside Thoughtseize can disrupt them and put forth a quick clock to the point to where we might not need something like Fulminator Mage. We might just be able to get there on the back of like Delver into some counter spells. But I don't know. It's just everybody picks their deck that they don't like losing to, and for me it is Tron. Is a Staticaster great against all these little creature decks that people are playing? We've talked about them: Absent Company, Affinity, Infect, things like that. Good against Lingering Souls as well. Lingering Souls is a big roadblock for this deck, and we need an answer for it. If we're not playing Electrolyze in the main, then Is it Staticaster on the board is almost a must. So yeah, and then Engineered Explosives, good against random stuff, and also great against Bogles. These Grixis decks have difficulty dealing with the Boggles, and Engineered Explosives is one of the best tools for that. And also just great against random stuff in the format. Grixis as a color has trouble with enchantments, so things like Outpost Siege, even though this deck doesn't necessarily care about Outpost Siege, but other stuff like Worship, just like random stuff that people play. I'm not talking about those specifically because Engineered Explosives won't hit the 4-drops, but just having an answer for tokens, having an answer for Liliana the Veil, another thing that can kill a Tarmogoyf, so Engineered Explosives as a Terminate. It's great against Affinity. There's a whole bunch of random uses for it, and then there are a couple matchups where it's like an all-star. So, but yeah, I think that's it. We'll see how it does. Again, I'm not gonna say worry, but I guess I have a trepidation that what I think about the Grixis Delver deck will probably come true in the matches, which is that the games where we draw our Delver and our Delver flips, everything, our deck feels super powered, and then the games where we don't draw our Delver, our opponent has a removal spell for him or it doesn't flip, that's where we're sitting there, wondering what decisions we have made to get us to this point. But that's why I'm playing and not you, so I can be the guinea pig. But it should be a lot of fun regardless, so hopefully we can come out the other end of it with a good record. And that'll be that. See you guys in the rounds.